I want to ask you something that probably not a lot of people ask you, but what does your random Tuesday look like? We're constantly being asked about what our dreams or goals are in life, whether that's what school we want to go to, what job we want to have, what fitness goals we might have, where we want to live, if we want to buy a house, if we have a dream car, all these different highlight reel type of moments. In my opinion, the question that's most important is, what does your average day really look like? Because in that question alone, more than any goal you've ever written down or any dream that you've had, is going to show you exactly where you're at and then should also show you where you want to go. Today I'm going to show you something that genuinely changed the way that I live my life and the way that I think about goals and ambitions. Most of us are taught to set goals, and goals are really good, and I still set them as well, but there is a trap with them. I'm going to write down a few example goals. Let's say make 10K a month. Run a marathon. Start a business. And maybe buy a house. These are typical goals that a lot of people might have in their life that are really reasonable and I think that are super achievable. The problem with this is that once all these things are done, you then set more goals and more finish lines to cross. But the reality of it is that there's something that's called the arrival fallacy. The idea that once I get there, I'll feel successful, I'll be happy. When I make that 10K a month and it's consistent, I'll feel better about myself. When I start that business, I'll be happy. When I buy a house, I'll feel like I've made it. But anyone who has hit a lot of their goals like this will tell you the exact same thing in terms of that there's a week or two of celebration, you're feeling really good about yourself, and then it dies off and you now need new goals and new finish lines to cross. And I definitely felt that as well. I have hit goals that I had worked years and years for, and when I finally got there, I thought to myself, is this it? Is this what I'm supposed to feel? It's not because the goal was wrong. All of these things are still great goals and great accomplishments to be overcome. It's because you are optimizing for a moment in time, not necessarily the life that you really want to be living. Here's the reframing that I want you to sit with. You can think about goals as events, but the visions are what you are really feeling every single day. This is not a trophy on the shelf. This is what your random Tuesday is going to look like. Think about questions like this. How do you want your body to feel on a day-to-day basis? Who do you want to be surrounded by? What type of work do you want to be doing? Do you want to be indoors or mostly outdoors? A lot of those questions we don't even really think about in our day-to-day lives because we are so focused on these. So some things I might write in my vision that's not necessarily a goal is I want to feel purposeful. I want to be outdoors. I want to be with my friends. Now, do you see the difference here? These are not things that can be checked off. You can't put a deadline on being purposeful, but we can build our life around these. Most people really never stop to define what they want. And this is where we start with what I call the ordinary day design. We're not setting some 5-year master plan of how we want our life to go, but instead just starting with what a simple day might look like. And so literally you can just walk through what your typical, ideal, normal day might look like. For example, we can just start with the morning. Do you want to wake up in a certain place? How do you like to wake up? Do you like to wake up with an alarm or without an alarm? Do you like to hit the gym right away, or do you like to kind of take things slow? Eating breakfast first thing in the morning? Do you want to wake up next to a certain someone? There are no right answers to these questions. This is your vision, and this is really what you want to idealize for yourself. And then obviously you can just move through your day. What do you like to do in the afternoons? Do you like to eat a late lunch? Do you want to be on calls? Do you want to be with your friends? Do you want to be at the beach? Do you want to be creating? Do you want to be consuming? Do you want to be resting? Do you want to be working? Are you with the people that you choose to be around, or are you with people that you're kind of stuck with? This is where people's goals typically start to disconnect from their vision. Chasing things, they're chasing numbers, they're chasing checkpoints that are still going to have them at a desk that they don't want to be at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. I had to face that in my own life. I was living a life that was completely perfect on paper, but my day-to-day just wasn't really what I wanted to be doing. The vision I had for my life and my ideal day-to-day versus my goals and what I was really chasing were pointing in completely different directions, and once I noticed that, I really couldn't unsee it. And then lastly, how do you want to end your day? Do you want to end your day with family and friends? Do you like to be alone at night? Do you want to feel tired in a good way after you're doing a lot of hard work, or do you want to feel drained necessarily in a bad way? And there really is a difference, because one version of being tired comes from doing things that are purposeful, meaningful, challenging yourself, challenging your body. And then there's a version of being drained that comes from giving your energy to things that don't feel or fill your cup. Now, once you understand what your ordinary day looks like, you can really build your goals around it. Think about it like you need your goals, but your goals need to have a compass. Instead of thinking, what should I achieve? You start to think about, what do I need to do to make this my normal? Maybe that means not just starting a business, but actually building an income stream that's going to allow you to use your time wisely. Maybe that means cutting a relationship that's draining you. Maybe that means moving somewhere that's going to fit your lifestyle and not just for a resume. Your goals don't necessarily disappear. You still need these goals, but they get a little bit more meaning to them. They stop being random checkboxes and things that you would cross off on a to-do list, but instead they start to become the architecture of how you actually want your day-to-day to be. And what I'll leave you with here is, before you write another goal, before you build some master 3-year plan, sit down, be calm, focus, and ask yourself quietly, what does my ideal Tuesday look like? And not only what does it look like, but what does it feel like? And if the life that you're currently building doesn't lead you to that perfect day, then this is your sign. Not your sign to quit, not your sign to blow everything up and change every direction, but to reorient what you might want in life. And there's something that I think about sometimes that not a lot of people talk about. At the end of your life, no one is going to stand up and read the list of goals that you had for yourself. They're not going to say, oh wow, she hit her revenue targets 3 years in a row, or she had the perfect morning routine. The people that you care about are going to sit around and talk about the way that you made them feel, the energy you carried yourself with, the things that you did for others. I think the scariest version of life is not a life of failure, but rather a life of achieving things that didn't really end up mattering to you. Your assignment is this: block out 20 minutes of your week this week, no phones, no distractions, and just really think, what do I want to feel when I wake up? And what do I want to be doing on a random Tuesday at 2 p.m.? And what do I want to feel when I close my eyes at night? Simple 3 questions are going to tell you a lot more about yourself than any goals list or to-do list ever could. Because you yourself already know the answers, you just haven't given yourself permission to really think about them. Because at the end of the day, you're never really chasing a goal, you're chasing a lifestyle. And you deserve to design it on purpose.